So until earlier this year, Wilbour Craddock was the Chief Information Officer at eHealth. That is the organization that manages our electronic records system here in the province. So last year, he and a couple of other eHealth employees went to the PGA Championship in Charlotte, North Carolina. And that was courtesy of Lexmark, which is a printing company that does a lot of business with the Saskatchewan government. Now, Craddock told me that the company paid for the flights, the accommodations, and golf passes on a trip that also did involve some business meetings. Now, eHealth's conflict of interest policy says employees should not be accepting free, all expenses paid trips. Two other employees on that PGA trip were fired earlier this year for conflict of interest. In Craddock's case, he left eHealth a few weeks before the hammer came down on those employees for another job. Now, in my interview with Craddock, he confirmed that vendor-paid trips were relatively common. He took them a couple times a year. He said it was a chance to get some product education and it didn't cost taxpayers anything. Now, this whole thing came up in the legislature today. The NDP asked the provincial government just how common this is.
Let's have a full list. How much vendor-paid travel is going on? Where else are people going to golf tournaments and the Indy 500? And the response in there that it wasn't criminal. Not criminal is not good enough. That is not an answer when you're looking for transparency, when you're looking for a government that's responsible with public funds.
Now, the reality is we know that it was not just eHealth employees that were going on trips paid for by companies that are doing business with the government. In fact, the Saskatchewan Health Region has a policy that explicitly says it's okay for employees to take flights, accommodations, meals at the vendor's expense. Now, the Minister of Health says he wasn't aware of this and he promised that he's going to make sure it gets fixed. The government right now is amalgamating the various health regions into a single health authority.
The inconsistency amongst the health regions is very troubling. So that's why I've asked the chair and the CEO of the Saskatchewan Health Authority to expedite that review.
Now, we've asked the minister, in the interest of transparency, can you tell us how common this was in the Saskatoon Health Region in eHealth? And he said he's going to ask his officials to see what's possible in terms of what he can tell us. We'll definitely be reporting his response. Geoff Leo, CBC News, Regina.